Now's the time to buy altcoins. All right. Altcoins outside of the top 10 at least, and maybe one or two in the top 10, but now's the time. Now is the time, and I'm going to take some time in this video to try to paint a picture for you as to what I'm seeing and timelines. And my goodness, I'm just going to warn you right now, we're all gambling. I mean, are we gambling? I mean, I'm showing you charts, I'm showing you data, and what should happen is most likely going to happen. What I'm expecting to happen is most likely going to happen. And yet if you watch my last video, I mean, I warned you guys about what this is. Oh gosh. I'm trying to collect my thoughts because it's not easy looking at certain charts that I'm looking at and being like, oh man, this looks good. Oh baby, this is going to set itself up really well for short-term bullishness. But then I look at broader things and I want to pull my hair out of my head because there are things macro-wise that are looking really ugly. And I mean, I alluded to that, I didn't allude to that. I just basically laid it out in my last video. Watch that last video. But it's me now, right? It's you and I now. And what about now? Now there's an opportunity. And then I'm going to put some water on that fire at the end of this video and talk about what's going to come after that. So, all right, you want to make some gains now. We'll make some gains now. Okay. And so what am I looking, what is this chart? This is not a chart that you can just pull up on TradingView. This is ETH divided by total 3. So the Ethereum over total 3 chart, Ethereum in comparison to total 3. I mean, you can see all throughout late 2024, early 2025, and when this peak in 2024, June of 2024. And then after that, it was just free fall for Ethereum against other altcoins. And then it had this big reversal in April and it rallied really hard, really hard. Like that is an aggressive move higher for Ethereum in comparison to altcoins. But then this last couple weeks, I mean, the moment that Ethereum barely broke its all-time high, this thing reversed. And it's painting a picture for me of past history when Ethereum rips up violently and reverses, and we are at this early stage of a reversal. And that doesn't mean you be bearish on Ethereum. That means you be more bullish on other altcoins, and more bullish when people are not. They're still asleep at the wheel. I mean, there's nobody has this on their radar as far as like, we might be really early with this with certain altcoins. And so just, all right, past history with this is what Ethereum does. Okay, guys, when it's time for, I don't want to call it alt season. I don't think this is going to be like full blown alt season. I think at the end of this, you're going to be disappointed. I'm sorry. Like not you, because you'll be prepared, but most people, because the moon boys are going to come out of their caves, they're going to come out of hiding. They're going to say, this is the time we've been waiting, 2025, the bull run to end all bull runs. And then it's just not going to be like 2021. But this was 2021. You see, I mean, Ethereum pumped really hard in comparison to altcoins and then peaked on January 7th. Well, you could say the peak was on February 2nd. That's a weird peak right there. And then Ethereum dumped from January in comparison to other altcoins. From January to April, made a bit of a rally in May, and then it was over. And that entire time, if I were to pull up that chart, I mean, Ethereum in 2021, in January of 2021, still had a 3x in front of it. So all this time, I mean, Ethereum 3x, but altcoins increased even more. And so here we are now. We have this rally with Ethereum dominance in comparison, at least to total 3, and it looks like that's about done. Now, okay, Ethereum can go higher. I'm not saying 3x from here. Ethereum could go to 7,000 or 10,000 or something like that, but now a lot of altcoins are going to catch up. Which altcoins, though, is the question. Well, let's look at the others chart. Okay, so others still has a long way to go to its 2024 peak. Was that its all-time high? That might not have been its all-time high. So yeah, even a little bit more to go to its all-time high. But others, so what's others? Others is 11 through 150 in market cap. 11 through 150. So outside of the top 10, 11 through 150, you can see, 2024 peak, we are still a decent amount away from that, and we're still away from the all-time high. I'm expecting others to hit a new all-time high some point in the fourth quarter, October, November. I tend to not think December. We'll see. But October, November, October is kind of like the hold October, see what happens in November month. That's what I tend to think. Who knows? But I think October for sure is locked in, as that's going to be a good month. November, I think, is going to at least start out well, and we'll see how it ends. But others looks super bullish. Others looks primed. And if you're not convinced by looking at this chart that others looks primed, let me point you out to others dominance. Others dominance looks just, I don't know what to say about that. That is very, very bullish. Okay, so this is the market cap of crypto's 11, how much dominance they have, crypto's 11 through 150. And this chart looks like it's breaking out of years of accumulation. I mean, would you really even call that accumulation? I mean, it's been bleeding ever since then, but it's at least from here, I would expect going to do some kind of a dead cat bounce. I mean, where would you draw fibs from? If we're talking about others dominance, maybe from the all-time high. So let's do that. It's not even at the 236. So where can this go? Could it go to the 0.5? 0.5, others dominance, 13.2%. That is a significant move, just FYI. That is a significant move for others dominance, but maybe even go higher than that because we got to the 0.5 in 2024. So maybe like the 618 or something like that, 14.8%. That means others in comparison. So let's say Ethereum goes up to in XRP, and Solana, Binance. What else is top 10? Tron, Dogecoin, Cardano. Those are all top 10. That others, in comparison to those plus Bitcoin and all those other ones, that others is those go up. Maybe not Bitcoin. I mean, I could see Bitcoin still going higher this year, but those other ones still go up. XRP going up a decent amount, but others doing even better than that. So Ethereum could 2x from here, but others would do even better than that. That's what we have ahead of us looking at others dominance on this chart. Let me delete that fib. So, guys, this looks bullish. This looks very bullish. And we have at least a retrace in others' dominance. We have at least, we have likely, in my opinion, a new all-time high in others. Others look bullish. I mean, what's the best case scenario? Should we go to extensions 1.618, 755 billion? It's currently at 311. It could go higher than that, 2.618. Who knows? Maybe even a 4.236. I tend to think no. I don't think we have enough time for that. 1.87 trillion, but 1.618 I think is in play. So, okay, we have this in mind. What is the game plan right now? I'll just tell you what I've done. All right. I still have my Pepe. Pepe is number 50, I think, in market cap. Very bullish on Pepe. I bought some Avalanche today. I just like Avalanche right now. I think it has, I like this chart. I just want to clean this up a little bit here. These EMAs, let me get rid of the EMAs. It's holding this floor. I tend to think that this thing is going to coil upwards, and it's holding the floor while fighting up against resistance. This actually looks a lot like the others chart. Holding the floor, rising floor, fighting against resistance. Eventually it's going to break out, get up to $32, probably this month. And then after that, I would expect this to go beyond its 2024 peak. So 2024 peak was what, $60, a little over $60 for Avalanche. I'd expect at least that. So I bought some Avalanche today. I think right now is you have a brief window of throw a dart at a dartboard. But for me, what I'm doing is I'm focusing on top 50, others. Okay. So 11 through 50. And I'm just going to spitball this. Okay. I have CoinMarketCap pulled up here, and actually Dogecoin, I would include Dogecoin in that. Dogecoin's actually been doing pretty well. It's at 24 cents these last few days. But what else? I mean, all right. Hyperliquid can go. I mean, Hyperliquid's been killing it, but it's number 11. This is a very new cryptocurrency. Maybe Chainlink. I think Chainlink can provide some good returns. Sui. I think Sui is going to perform more like a top 10 crypto. All right. So looking at Sui, but let's look at Sui. I mean, look, I'm not as excited about that. I think this is, at the moment I'm making this video, I think this is just a back test of this trend line. I don't think this is a wick. I mean, that was tricky right there, but I don't think this is a wick. I think this will end up being a back test of this trend line, and that we have broken the trend line. But Sui is very highly inflationary. It's a large market cap crypto. So I have a bag of Sui. I have pay my kids' tuition with my Sui and Doge plan, so I'm not going to include Sui in that. But Chainlink has a chance. Chainlink's chart looks similar to Sui's in one regard, except it's more established. It's been around for a longer time. The tokenomics aren't terrible. Let's scroll through here. I already mentioned Avalanche. It's number 17. H bar is going to break out when XRP breaks out. Let's keep it at that. Should we mess around with Litecoin? Actually, we might want to mess around with Litecoin. Litecoin, same deal as always, $350. It's probably going to get up there. Man, Shiba Inu, all right, it's a meme coin. Too many meme coins in the market. It's just been bleeding. It's losing its market cap dominance. Polkadot and Uniswap might be good. You guys, you should know my opinion on Polkadot. I think it's trash. But can it do some X's right now? Sure. Uniswap's had a very strong chart. Shout out to Foregone. I can't stand you, but shout out to you, Athena. Athena's newer, probably highly inflationary. We'll see about that. Not Monero. Monero does well when everything else does poorly, and Monero's been struggling lately. So Aave's already had a big move. It's just been consistent. You're going to get consistent returns from Aave. You're not getting like lots and lots of X's here. So where do we go from here? Pepe, you want to buy some Pepe? Sure. But I think what's going to happen is, it's going to be altcoins and then meme coins. Don't know enough about Mantle. OKB, no. MYX, this thing's brand new. This thing, I wouldn't touch it because it's brand new. I was looking at the charts. This thing's up today over the last 24 hours, 88%. All right. And then if you look at the chart previous days, a week ago, that was at $1.29. Now it's at $17.39. No. WorldCoin, terrible tokenomics. Okay. Story is very new. I don't know enough about it. None of these exchange tokens. Near, I'm kind of licking my lips here. Near might be a good one. And I don't love Near, but let me look at that chart. Here's the thing about Near: is it finally, man? This 200-day moving average, man. It's just like, can we finally break out of the 200-day moving average? Look at it right now. It's like, this might be it, but then look at that false breakout. I'd feel more comfortable with Near, actually, unfortunately, higher than where it is right now, above 293 with a confirmed back test of that, and then let's go with Near. But Near might actually be a good one. You might be surprised by this. All right, let me actually. So Tau will get you steady returns. I think the dollar amount of the coin. I know market cap matters more, but that dollar amount might scare some people off. Ethereum Classic. You know my opinion about Ethereum Classic. Ethereum Classic pumps really hard at the end, and so I want to get this closer to the end. Eventually, Ethereum Classic, absolutely. Aptos. Haven't really been paying attention to Aptos. All right, let's look at Aptos real quick. 437. No, absolutely not. That thing looks terrible. The Aptos CEO resigned when his vesting was released. That communicates to me a lot in terms of belief in the project. No, thank you. So that thing needs to die. Ondo, no. Listen, I like Ondo. I think Ondo's peak is probably maybe $3. I just think a lot of other things are going to outperform it. Polygon, Polygon's been terrible this cycle. But I just, it has a lot of ground to make up, and that the recent price action is actually quite bullish. So it might, oh man, I feel like I'm going to get struck by lightning when I say this. It might be worth it to buy some Polygon. I mentioned that in my live stream. We're almost done with the top 50 here. I'm keeping it 51, up to 51, and there's a reason 51. If you see what 51 is here, let me get that out of the way of my head. So, all right, Arbitrum actually looks good. The chart looks good. I'm not a fan of their tokenomics. It actually looks good. ICP is probably going to do something, but there's no signs of life in the chart right now. So I'm staying away from that for now. Caspa should do well. I'm not in love with the chart. All right, so eventually keep Caspa on your radar. Cosmos, Pudgy Penguins, and VeChain. Let me look at Cosmos, Pudgy Penguins. It's a meme coin, and what did I say about meme coins? Meme coins are going to pump when if we get some kind of euphoria, which I think that enough suckers are going to be brought into this. They're going to get sucked in, and yeah, they'll buy some Pudgy Penguin. They'll sell some stocks and buy Pudgy Penguins at the peak, and they can be your exit liquidity. Atom looks okay. I don't know. It's nothing screaming with me about it. But VeChain, So 51. VeChain, I like VeChain. I mentioned this before. Somebody on my live stream a couple weeks ago asked me, like, all right, gun to your head, you got $100,000. You must double it with one cryptocurrency. You can only buy one cryptocurrency. My vote is for VeChain. Now, of course, yeah, it's at resistance. So when would I feel more comfortable getting into this? I mean, I have some VeChain. I'm just going to hold on to it. But I would be more comfortable actually breaking through the 200-day moving average and this 26-cent level. So, I mean, you can see we broke through the 26-cent level in July, but got rejected at the 200-day. And then 200-day and 26-cent level 2.6-cent level. And then, hey, broke through the 200-day, got rejected at 2.6 level. So, all right, we'll break through the 200-day this time. Can we please, for the love of everything holy, hold that 2.6 level? Then I'll be a lot more excited about VeChain. I'm very interested in VeChain, but a lot more excited. So this is where we are right now. This is where my headspace is right now. Is that even a lot of the ones that I didn't even mention in the top 50, I'm thinking top 50. I'm thinking 11 through 50, and I'm telling you guys, now is the time. All right, let me back up for a second. Some of you might be watching this after the PPI report comes out. I'm very nervous about the PPI report that comes out September 10th at 8:30 Eastern time. So some of you might have already watched it. Last month's PPI report was a disaster. It was a disaster. All right, so that was a disaster. CPI was good, but what I think tends to happen is PPI becomes CPI. That's the producer price index versus the consumer price index. Producers will be passing that inflation on to consumers. So inflation, I'm very nervous about inflation, and I'm very nervous about a weakening economy. Did you see this news event? It's not even news. It's just the stupid unemployment report revision. 911,000 jobs were removed. They never actually existed. So this is the worst revision since for a very long time. This chart goes back to 2000. Maybe that's it. But this is the worst revision in a really long time. And so everything that I just said in my last video, you got to watch my last video. Everything we're still early in this, but the cracks in the foundation are showing. They are knocking on the door. For some of you, especially if you're prone to get caught up into the hype of what I think is coming over the next month or two, maybe 3 months, if you're going to get caught up on that and you're going to be a bag holder, you are better off selling now and exiting. Now, stocks are probably going to suffer as well. They're probably going to suffer a lot. Not as much as crypto, though. These altcoins that I'm saying that I'm buying, I am selling every bit. And they might have a worse bear market than any other bear market we've seen with altcoins, which is saying a lot. Cardano went down 99% in the 2018 to 2020 bear market and then did a 150x. I'm saying, like, can Cardano go down 99% this time around? I don't know, but a lot of these altcoins are going much, much lower than I think you could even imagine. So what's the name of the game after that? I exit my altcoins in December and I'm only shorting. I'm looking to short. But then I'm even a little bit nervous about shorting. I'm nervous about keeping any amount of my USDT on Bitmarked, on BitUnix, on any of these leverage trading platforms. Because what if that actually happens? We saw what happened last cycle. I mean, BlockFi, Celsius, Voyager, those three exchanges collapsed. Some other ones collapsed. Under this scenario where we enter something similar to possibly the great financial crisis, I don't think it's going to be worse than that because I think they're going to turn on QE sooner. But if we're on par with the great financial crisis, I think a lot of these exchanges are going to become insolvent. So I'll short for a time, and then I guess I'll park it in gold, and then I'll wait for Bitcoin. I'll put some in Bitcoin. I don't want to hold it in the dollar. That's the frustrating thing about all this. Is like in the past, you cash out in the dollar. There's absolutely, we're talking about rising inflation going into, this is stagflation. We're talking about rising inflation going into a weakening economy. So I don't want to hold dollars, but then, yeah, people are going to flee to dollars. Now, one thing that would make me want to hold dollars is if the Fed increased rates. But they're not going to increase rates. They're lowering rates. And they're probably going to lower rates a decent amount, which makes me absolutely not want to hold dollars. Are you kidding me? I'm not holding dollars. Get out of here with that nonsense. So where are we going to park this? That's the question that I just don't know. I mean, yeah, maybe it's just gold, man, or silver. So what happens, I wasn't even planning on talking about this. What I'm absolutely convinced is going to happen is gold is going to go down. It'll go down with everything else, but what happens after that is gold's going to skyrocket. I mean, we're talking $10,000, $15,000 gold. So, I mean, just look at the Great Financial Crisis. So where are we? Great Financial Crisis. This is what happened to the Great Financial Crisis. I don't know what those lines are for. Oh yeah, I remember what those lines are for. It doesn't matter. So Great Financial Crisis, gold went from around $1,000 an ounce to 686, 30% drop. That's Tuesday for crypto, and then it bounced back and oh boy, did it ever bounce back. I mean, look at what happened over the next 3 years. Gold tripled from its bottom, which for gold, that's massive. Okay. So here we are today, we're at $3,600. Let's say gold goes down to 2,500 or so. Oh no, 2,500. After that, 10,000. And now 10,000, we're not talking crypto timelines. We're talking gold timelines, which is a much slower mover. So 10,000 by the end of the decade, that's kind of my mindset with gold. So, okay. That's I know that this was a different level of intensity. I think I'm going to bring this heat because we need it. We need both. We need to take advantage of some things here, but we need to be like ants gathering for the winter because brace yourselves, winter's coming. I don't watch trading. What is that? Game of Thrones, Trading Thrones, Game of Thrones. All right. Anyway, that's all I have for today. Hope you have a wonderful day, wonderful rest of your week. I'll most likely certainly be seeing you in another video. Have a good one. Peace.